So I'm getting on an airplane tomorrow. And to be honest, I'm kind of tripping out about it. Not the idea of getting on an airplane, but just the fact that it has been now over a year and a half since I've flown anywhere, since I've traveled anywhere. I mean, I've been on a few regional trips with my family over the past 18 months just to really get out of the house, to be honest. But I haven't been anywhere where I've been able to do any kind of substantive landscape photography work in such a long time. So in the spirit of those old what's in my bag style videos that you used to see a lot of people doing of, like, I don't know what, a couple of years ago, I think it's time to bring it back. So in case you're curious to know, let's just begin with the bag itself. This is a ProTactic 450 AW made by LowPro. I have used this bag for years, and one of the reasons why I continue to use it is because literally like every square inch of space inside this bag is allocated towards gear. And the other reason is because this backpack does not expand and it does not collapse. And I know for some people that may be kind of a downside, but one of the upsides is this backpack is within the dimensions that are accepted by every airline that I've ever flown on for use as a carry-on, for use, for putting in an overhead bin. It always fits. I've never had a problem with it. Additionally, there's all kinds of little loops out here on the outside of it and some pockets over here on the side so you can be attaching like a water bottle bag. I also have this little accessory pouch here, which also you can slide onto here, and this is good for like filters or things like that. All right, so let's begin by talking about the most important gear of all. Of course, I'm talking about cameras. Now, this will be of no surprise to anyone who's been following my channel for a while, but the two cameras I'll be bringing with me are the Canon EOS R5 and the R6. The R5 will be my primary still photography camera. I'll be shooting 45 megapixel raw images with it, plus the occasional bit of video. And the R6 will be my primary video camera and my backup camera in case, who knows, in case something goes wrong with the R5 while I'm traveling. So I'm going with variable zooms, and it's the holy trinity, encompassing everything from 16 to 200 millimeters. We have the 16 to 35 millimeter f4 EF lens down here. This is the one that I would totally replace this with the new Canon 14 to 35 millimeter f4 that they recently came out with. I pre-ordered it. Wish it was here in time for this trip, but I'll just have to use it on the next one. Then we have the RF 70 to 200 f4. Very much looking forward to really putting this to good use. And then this one down here is the classic. This is the 24 to 70 millimeter f2.8 EF lens. Now, because I have two EF lenses here, I'm obviously going to need adapters in order to use them on the R5 and the R6. So I have two adapters. One is the basic adapter, and then I'll also be bringing along this control ring one as well. By the way, I made a video recently about Canon EF to RF adapters. I received all three, I tested them all out and gave them a try. If that's something of interest to you, I'll link to that up here above. Okay, let's continue by talking about filters. So I'm bringing two sets of filters with me on this trip, one for still photography and one for video. For photography, I'm going to be using the Summit Polar Pro landscape photography filter system. This is the holder here, has a large circular polarizer here in front, and then it has two square and rectangular filters, a graduated filter here, and then these are the square neutral density filters. And these are just beautiful. These are so nice with these metal frames around the outside of the glass with these brass pull tabs at the top. I just really love the construction of these filters, and I received these, kind of right in the middle of COVID and the pandemic, and I haven't really been able to effectively use them yet. So I am very much looking forward to using these on this trip. Now for video, I'll be using the Freewell magnetized variable ND filter system. Again, something I recently reviewed on this channel and talked about. This is a magnetized variable ND that just quickly mounts to the front of a camera lens. Okay, let's continue on. Something else that's new that I'm bringing with me on this trip. The last time I traveled, I brought with me a DJI Osmo Pocket. But unfortunately, that pocket got kind of screwed up when I traveled last time. It got some sand and some grit inside of the gimbal, and it just really messed it up. And I thought, yeah, I'm probably done with the pocket then. I'm not gonna buy the new one that comes out. I'm gonna do something different. So I ended up getting a GoPro Hero 9 instead. So this is gonna be kind of like my BC cam. Like I'm planning on using this for the occasional bit of vlogging when just carrying an R6 is too much. Also just for some supplementary cutaway, kind of footage that I'm planning on creating. So this Hero 9 here, this has the GoPro Media Mod accessory on it. The main reason why I got this, this Media Mod add-on was because it has cold shoe mounts on it and because it has a microphone input here on the back. And there is a USB-C port as well to be charging batteries and to be accessing the SD card in the GoPro. Also for the GoPro, I have a third-party battery charger here. This actually came with 2 extra batteries inside of it. And it's nice because then you're able to charge these GoPro batteries and continue using the camera, because otherwise you have to charge the batteries in the camera, which means you can't use the camera when you need to charge something. So I got just this little external charger here and it works fine. And then finally, rounding out the category of cameras, I'm also bringing along the new DJI Air 2S. Now, I haven't talked about this drone on my channel yet because I literally just got it about a week ago. But before this drone, I used the DJI Mavic 2 Pro. Fantastic drone, great drone for photos and videos. But I ended up, I don't know if it's an upgrade, maybe more of a cross grade over to changing over to the 2S because it's smaller, it's lighter. It now has a 1-inch sensor in it, which is pretty close to the image quality that you get with the 2 Pro. And that lightweight design of the drone also carries over to the batteries, and these are noticeably lighter. Love the fact that these are smaller and lighter. So I ended up getting the Fly More combo here, which comes with additional propellers in case one breaks. You also get 3 batteries. Let's see, there's also the neutral density filters that are made by DJI. These are for the 2S. Haven't used these yet. I don't know what the quality is like. If you have, and if you have any experience with these, I would love to hear your feedback. Would love to know if it's worth buying some from someone else, like either, I think, like I know Polar Pro makes some, I think Freewell does as well. Not entirely sure what the quality is like with these. I guess I probably should have tested that beforehand, but I guess I'm going to find out. So if you have any experience with these, please give me some feedback, let me know. And speaking of batteries, so this is like my little makeshift battery case here. This has just all my Canon LP batteries in it. I'm bringing 6. And you may notice that they're actually labeled. So I have like battery 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I start with battery 1 and then move on. And then when that one dies, I move on to 2 and then on to 3. And I keep going until I loop back around. So it's a way of kind of keeping your sanity and remembering which batteries you need to be charging, which are dead and which are good. Okay, now let's talk about audio. So also something new for this trip that I'm going to be using is the Rode Wireless Go. There's actually one really nice little accessory that some of you watching this video may not be aware of. A $20 add-on accessory that is a magnetized mount. Well, this magnetized system, one of them goes onto the shoe here of the transmitter, and then the other one, you just kind of put it up inside of your shirt like so, and there you go. Okay, so also with audio, I expect most of my audio to be recorded with this, but I'm also going to be bringing along another Rode microphone. This is the Rode Stereo VideoMic X. This is a pretty interesting microphone. Mine's a little scuffed up here. It really captures in a realistic way, I think, the texture and the sound of the space, especially when out in natural environments. So one other little just kind of like emergency thing that I keep in my bag here just in case. This is a storm jacket camera cover. This is a camera cover that is designed, well, obviously for cameras, but it's the kind of thing that you can pull out, say if you're shooting close to water or if it starts raining and there's a lot of spray and you don't want that. Yeah, so charging batteries, those LP batteries I was talking about a minute ago. This is a RavPower LP USB battery charger. I cannot stand not Apple. I can't stand Canon's plug-in wall charger things. I'd much rather have USB. All right, what else is in here? We have a Arca Swiss plate. So I'm actually bringing 3 Arca Swiss plates with me for use on ball heads. This is one here that is made by Breakthrough Photography, has a nice kind of like rubberized base on it. The other Arca Swiss plate that I'm bringing is the one I talked about in my R5 accessories video. The really small, lightweight one designed for the R5 and the R6 made by Breakthrough. Love that little Arca Swiss plate. Definitely bringing that with me, especially when shooting video and I don't need to flip the camera over into a vertical orientation. But when I need to do that, well, I'm going to need an L bracket. So this L bracket here, again, from another recent video on my channel, this one is made by Pro Media Gear, and it's a little bit chunkier. It's got a little bit more going on than some of the other L brackets out there. But I love the fact that it doubles as a handle, especially when shooting video. What else do I have in here? Yeah, so just some more stuff for the drone. By the way, that Fly More combo thing not only comes with extra batteries, but it also comes with this nice additional charging base here that you can plug in all 3 batteries and you can be charging with. Okay, another couple of accessories here. So when you're traveling, a lot of times, especially when you have a downtime and you're traveling between locations, it's always a good idea to be recharging batteries as you're going, because, well, you may not have time to do so otherwise. And if you're doing like what I'm doing on this trip and staying in a camper van, well, it's kind of hard to be charging stuff all the time. So one of the things that I bring with me is this BESTEK power inverter. This is a 300 watt power inverter here, and this just plugs right into the cigarette lighter. And then you have 2 DC power inputs here, so you could be connecting a laptop, you could be connecting like this drone battery charger here. That'll plug in as well. There's also 2 USB ports here, so you can be charging a phone. And I've had like a few different things plugged in here at a time, like when the engine is running. Like you don't want to be doing this when the car's just sitting there. But when you're driving around, just have some stuff on the floor, all charging at the same time, works really well. Another little accessory that I always travel with is an air vent phone mount, because I can't tell you the number of times I have like rented a car or a camper van or something like that, and I haven't been able to mount the phone anywhere. Like there's not a place for it. So the phone ends up kind of like down in the console, or you end up like holding in your hand, which is way dangerous. And yeah, don't be doing that. Well, I got tired of just hoping that a car would have something like this, and I just bought one that just stays in my travel kit. So I just bring one of these along, so I always make sure that I have one. Then it's always a challenge just to remember to pack it up and bring it home with you too. Yeah, another little accessory I'm bringing along with me just in case is a pocket RGBW light. This is nice, like if you just need a little extra light when you're shooting, you can just put this up on top of your camera or on top of your tripod, whatever. And it just gives you some nice additional light. And it has this nice, kind of like plastic diffuser on the front here. Nice little light made by Pilotfly. This is an Atom Cube. I've talked about this one before. It's a little bit brighter, has more wattage than the Aperture model, which I think is probably the more popular, more well-known. But I happen to really like these made by Pilotfly, so bringing this too. Oh yeah, and of course memory cards. So I have like a ton of memory cards here. This is my travel case. This is just something cheap that I picked up on Amazon. Works perfectly fine, and it carries both SD cards and all of the micro SD cards that I'm going to need as well for the GoPro and the drone. And then we have Todd's giant messy bag of cables. So I always travel with one of these as well, just a really nice pouch to have with all these loops on the inside, so you can be bringing along all the different charging cables, all the different things you may need. And I oftentimes bring like 2 or 3 of each type that I need, just in case I lose one, just in case one breaks for some reason, or one, especially with these USB-C cables, sometimes they can transmit data but not power, and it's kind of confusing which one is which. So I just err on the side of it. I just bring as many as I can. So this is my pouch of cables. Yeah, almost forgot about one of the most important pieces of gear. So the tripod. I'm actually bringing 2 tripods with me, and I haven't quite figured out what the second tripod is going to be yet, because I need to bring 2, because one will be for shooting video with, and the other will be for photography. You always need 2, unfortunately, with you. I haven't quite figured out what the second tripod is going to be yet, but I know that one of them is going to be this one. This is one of my favorite tripods. This one is made by iFootage. This is the Gazelle TC6. Not sure if they're making this particular model now. I think they've moved on to the TC7. But one of the things I really like about this tripod, well, one, it's super lightweight, carbon fiber, great construction. But I mean, the thing I love most is the fact that this has a built-in leveling base on it. So you can be leveling your camera independent of the legs. Very helpful, especially if you're doing any kind of panoramic photography or shooting video and you're shooting against the horizon. and you need your camera to be level, well, this is a really nice tripod to have with you. So I'll be bringing this one, and this is the kind of thing that goes in the checked bag. Like this will go in a case, a padded case, inside the suitcase. So yeah, I think that pretty well covers it. I mean, there is some additional things like cleaning supplies, like an air blower, microfiber cloths, some like lens wipes, that kind of stuff. But you know, that's all pretty much standard fare. Like we don't really need to go into that. If there's anything I missed, it wouldn't surprise me if I did. I will include it in the video description below, along with links to everything else that I talked about in this video. It's quite a long list, quite a lot of stuff that I mentioned. So all the major stuff I will put below in case you want to check out more info, check a current price on something, feel free to do so. Also, because a number of these things that I talked about in this video are products that I've reviewed in the past, I'll also put links to those other videos down there in case you want to check those out too. As for me, I'm telling you, I'm so looking forward to getting on an airplane tomorrow and getting out of town, being someplace different, getting out into the world and doing some like substantive landscape photography work again. It has been so long, and I can't wait to do it. And it's weird. Like I'm kind of excited about it, and yet at the same time, I'm also rather anxious too, because I think it's one of those things where you haven't done something in a while, and you're kind of not sure if you remember how to do everything, and you definitely don't want to screw things up. But I don't know. I'm trying not to get like too overly. I'm trying not to overthink it too much, and I'm trying just to focus on the experience and focus on just how thankful and grateful I am that I'm finally going to be able to get out and do what I love to do again, and to be creating new work, and to be sharing that work with you, and to be creating some new videos for this channel. And I think it's going to be great. So if you would like to keep in touch with me, and if you'd like to see some of these future videos and this stuff that I'm talking about, then please remember to subscribe to this channel down below. And while you're down there, if you haven't done so already, give this video a thumbs up too. I would appreciate it. And yeah, that's it, folks. I will see you next time.